Today, we're going to be talking about the parallels between Season 2 of Helluva and Season 1 so far, particularly between the second episode of each season, which are extremely similar, and through it, discuss whether or not Stolas has really grown in the about 1 year since the story of the show began. My name is Deepcut, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and now, I owe you a favor. Now, before we begin, it should be noted that Episode 2 of Season 1 is the third episode of the series overall, with the first being the pilot, which serves as a sort of Episode 0. But to clarify, we will be comparing the stories of the Season 1 episode Loo Loo Land and the Season 2 episode Seeing Stars, which both focus heavily on Stolas and Octavia. Both episodes begin with a flashback to Octavia's childhood, where we see her enjoying time with her father. The Season 1 story was about Octavia having a nightmare. Stella refused to comfort her, so Stolas went in, sung her a beautiful song, and showed her magnificent visions of space. In the Season 2 story, they are just spending a nice evening together before Stolas tucks Octavia in, teaching her about his job and the workings of the universe. In the Season 1 story, this scene was to juxtapose with the present, showing how far Stolas had fallen. Stolan had openly cheated on Stella at this point, and while we are sympathetic to Stolas because of his unfair marriage to her, the real issue here is that he was chasing Blitz to a fault. The whole episode was about him pretending to be there for Octavia, but instead was really forcing Blitz to go on an awkward date with him. He wanted to be in danger and be rescued by Blitz. In the Season 2 premiere, we learned that Stolas had seen Blitz perform at a circus and seemed to develop a fixation about somehow being saved by Blitz as part of his fantasy. Bringing Blitz to Loo Loo Land specifically seemed now like he was purposely recreating how he first met Blitz as a child. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that he had actually hired this small gang of imps to hunt him down in the park, forcing Blitz to be on guard at every moment and being able to heroically save Stolas, allowing him to keep thanking Blitz in over-the-top ways. By the end of the episode, Stolas realizes what he is doing to some degree and apologizes to Octavia, eventually taking her to an occult shop, something she actually likes, for just the two of them. However, while he does assure her that he will never run off and leave her, he didn't really address the problem, which was that he was chasing Blitz to an extreme degree. And we would continue to see him do this throughout the season. In Seeing the Stars, this actually reaches its breaking point. After Octavia's previously mentioned flashback where she learns about Azathoth's tears, we flash to the present where she is in a surprisingly good mood, because it's finally the day to see the meteor shower. Stolas, unfortunately, is all too busy dealing with Stella's outrageous demands, but just as she is trying to make his life miserable, he is trying to do so in return, taking up so much of his time and energy that he can barely even pay attention to Octavia, let alone remember the promise he made to her. Unlike in Season 1, which showed Octavia just following her dad around on whatever he wanted to do, Season 2 shows Octavia taking initiative and deciding that her father's issues are no longer worth her time. As she says to Luna at the end of the episode, she just doesn't understand why he hates Stella more than he loves Octavia. Now, when looking for Octavia, it made sense to bring Luna and the IMP gang, even without them having disguises. Unlike in Season 1, where it was clearly a farce for Stolas to just spend time with Blitz. In Season 2, Stolas is seemingly forced into ignoring Octavia when he and Blitz are kidnapped and forced onto a sitcom set, however. Stolas seems to have not much choice, despite how much time they spent there, but I don't intend to use this to pass judgment on his growth. Instead, I want to use it to talk about the parallels it had not just to Episode 2 of Season 1, but also to the Season 2 premiere just one episode before. Like in Season 1, Stolas ends up at some sort of performance with Blitz, this time by accident instead of on purpose, like when he took them to RoboPhys's tent. But with Blitz on stage, the scene more closely resembles the flashback of Stolas when he first saw Blitz as a kid. The extreme layer of irony here is that even in RoboPhys's tent, we know that Blitz was once a performer there as well. Through most of his life, Blitz seemed to be a horrible performer who got horrible reactions, with only outliers like Stolas appreciating his humor, though even then, it can be on the level of Blitz's joke being awkward and cringy. Blitz got an inflated ego boost from all of this because of the signs forcing people to laugh along to his jokes, whether teleprompted or improvised. While this is a bit of a growing moment for Blitz, it is a moment of regression for Stolas. One facet of Stolas' fixation for Blitz, as we discussed earlier, is the desire to cast Blitz as some sort of protector or hero. It is uncertain where exactly this stems from. The first time Stolas sees Blitz, he is swinging around on Fizzaroli's arm at the circus, seeming to parallel where Blitz saved Stolas on the burning sitcom set. Blitz was too busy fighting RoboFizz in episode 2 of season 1 to rescue Stolas in any way, but Stolas didn't really need him to either. Here, Stolas is legitimately overwhelmed on the sitcom set, and Blitz manages to be all sexy and heroic, and it is a bit of a confusing message for what they are trying to say here. Some fans speculate that the missing episode 8 would give a lot of context to fill in the gaps, but me personally, I think we were supposed to take it as it is. These recurring images and ideas, places on fire, Stolas wanting to be rescued, they are kind of a reminder of what his relationship with Blitz actually is, a disaster. While Blitz did manage to save Stolas this time, his motivation came not from wanting to be a sexy hero for Stolas, but to get back to saving his daughter Luna. This is a bit of a bonding moment for the two, but Stolas is more lost in his feelings for Blitz here than his desire to find Octavia, which is the reason they came out here to begin with. The episode ends with Octavia somewhat believing that she is her father's top priority, and that when he doesn't always act like she is, it is because he is being blinded by his hatred for Stella or something to that effect, but the episode as a whole seems to tell us something else. Stolas' actions in the premiere indicated that he was ready to really give Blitz some space, but the events of this episode make it seem like Stolas is not only going to have a hard time letting go of Blitz, but that he will continue to let it interfere with the relationship he has with his daughter. The show's been running for quite a while now, all things considered, but season 2 is still very much early on in the show's story, and as much as Stolas seems to have grown since the first season, there's no reason they need to have all of their issues resolved this soon. The story they are plotting for Stolas and his family is very complex, one that has layers beyond just a gay man trying to escape an arranged marriage with a horrible woman. Octavia in the mix, as well as the personal drama Blitz brings, makes it hard to imagine any ending where all the characters are happy and living their best life. And while Stolas may still give Blitz the Osmodian crystal so Blitz isn't as overtly forced into this dynamic with Stolas as in season 1, this episode emphasizes that Stolas still has feelings for Blitz, and if anything, they are intensifying as things progress and their relationships all fall apart. And who knows what further issues this will cause for them in particular. Before we go, there's also some really interesting parallels between the Instagram posts surrounding episode 2 of both seasons. In season 1, episode 2, it ended with Stolas taking Octavia to the occult shop, as discussed earlier, and we got to see Octavia's purchase on Instagram afterwards. Her account was shut down due to inappropriate comments from the vile part of the fanbase, but for season 2, episode 2, Stolas posted a picture of him showing Octavia how to use the grimoire properly to get to the purple space that she wanted to see. In both cases, they ended up having a real father-daughter moment after the events of the episode, though the post with Octavia using the grimoire came out before the episode aired, because of how delayed things were at the end of season 1. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're down there, let me know what kind of Helluva Boss theories you'd like to hear next. I was thinking about a video explaining how imps and sinners may have once been at war with each other, and I'd love to know your thoughts. See you guys next time.